Today we welcome Johnny Bush, candidate for Hillsborough School Board, District 7. Let's go. All right, everyone. This is, you can't make this shit up, your hosts today, Cedra and David. And joining us today is Johnny Bush, candidate for Hillsborough County School Board, District 7. Welcome, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. I'll let Cedra take it from here.
Hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're welcome. So my name is Sidra, and I will ask few questions about the school board district. So the first thing is that we will begin with a few questions about your background and experience, and then discuss some specific questions about and related to the school board elections. Are you ready for that?
I am ready.
Okay. David, anything you want to ask him?
Well, first, I do want to thank you again, Mr. Bush, for joining us. Hopefully, I can call you Johnny. And if there's anything that you want to ask of us, please feel free.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Is that now or later?
Anytime, sir. Anytime.
Anytime.
As we go through it.
Okay. Okay. So tell us about yourself first.
Okay. So let me tell you about me. I have a candidate forum coming up today at 4:30. So we're going to get to this right away. I'm a 35-year educator. I retired after 35 years of education. I taught deaf and hard of hearing kids for the majority of my teaching career, and I got into administration in 2002. I was an administrator at 3 different schools before I was appointed principal of Robinson High School here in Tampa, Florida. I was also once I was at Robinson, we brought that school to their first A ever as A-rated school, and someone thought that we were doing something really special, and it wasn't me. I will never take credit for what teachers do, but they offered me a position downtown, and I went downtown, and I was the general manager for professional standards. That's the person that deals with all the discipline of the adults in the district, pretty much. It wasn't my cup of tea, and the superintendent wanted to move some people back to schools, and I said, I'll go back to a school, give me any school, and he asked me if I would take Plant High School, which is also here in South Tampa where I live. Both Robinson and Plant are about 3.5 miles apart from each other. So you can imagine me going from one school to a rival school. But kids are kids. We had a great time there. I retired in 2022. Both my daughters graduated with me. I was fortunate enough to give them both their high school diplomas. Which was just I can't even describe the feeling. It was just such an amazing feeling. When my youngest daughter graduated, who's on her way back to Florida State to be a junior, I retired, and I did a lot of soul searching and thinking about it. And I said, I want to run for school board someday. But not being able to stay away from kids, I took on a position at Jefferson High School, which is the local high school here. It's a Title I school. Ooh, the thunder's good. And it's a Title I school. It's 98% free and reduced lunch school. Reminds me a lot of my growing up. Many more students are Black and brown at those schools. I am like the catch-all person at Jefferson, and I really, really enjoy it. It's very rewarding. And so while I've been running for school board, I've continued to be a hall monitor at Jefferson High School. So, and I got a real pleasure of speaking with Cedra last week with her crew. I was just salivating at the questions you guys were asking, because you all are the now, but you're more the future. And people like me, we're gonna need you. We're gonna need you.
But you did great job.
I
Honestly.
appreciate that. Your questions were very relevant questions, and I just one of my main reasons, one of my main whys for running for school boards, I just think we've forgotten the importance of what it's like to be in the building as a teacher, dealing with kids every day. And kids have changed so much over the years that there's a different way of dealing with them. The conditions are what I call them. And not that they're bad conditions. It's just that we've got to get back to making teachers a cornerstone of our education system.
Thank you so much for sharing such things with us. So may I ask about how's your campaign going on?
Oh, my campaign is going well. Like I said before, we're very grassroots campaign. We're 4 people. I have the guy who took over Robinson after I was promoted downtown. He is my campaign treasurer. He and I stayed in very good touch, and he was principal of Robinson. I was principal of Plant, and he's a young African-American male. He's young enough to be my son, but he is a rock star, and he's one of those guys that does great things. He's no longer in the system. He works for Columbia University, and he works with distinguished principals around the country. His name's Robert Bolai, but he is my main guy. Robert will be here in about 15, 20 minutes, and we will be driving about to Fishhawk area or Riverview area to go to another event. But my campaign team is very small. I have Robert. I have a young lady who's 22, 23 years old. She's the one that does all of our social media stuff. She reads everything and corrects everything. And she's just a really, really bright young person who is doing a great job. And she's up all time of night thinking of things for us to do, and we're very easy to work with when it comes to her. We also have a person from a consulting group, Key Lime Strategies Consulting. So they are really, the young lady is the only one I pay, but we pay Key Lime Strategies for putting out our email and our text messages and managing our Facebook posts that cost money as well. We've raised about $52,000. In my mind, that's a lot of money for a school campaign, but there are people that double my money, triple my money. But we're busy. We put out about 2,500 signs around the county. This is a countywide race. If you vote in Hillsborough County, and we're the 7th largest school district in America, the 3rd largest school district in Florida. If you vote in this county, I am on your ballot. So our race is bigger than most Senate races in America. So when it's all said and done, about 650,000 people will vote if we make it to the general election, which we hope to do. But again, the campaign is going well. I feel very comfortable that when I lay down at night that we're running a campaign that we're very proud of. It's a nonpartisan race. I've lost endorsements for people wanting me to claim a party. I don't claim parties in this race. I don't work with kids who talk politics. I've never worked. No one's ever asked us about that. We've got to keep it that way. On the November ballot, there will be Amendment 1 saying, wanting us to vote yes or no for school board races to be partisan. I will vote emphatically no. I don't believe politics should be in our schools the way they are. Now, being a principal at 2 different high schools, we had the Young Democratic Club, the Young Republican Club. We had the LGBTQ plus club. We had a lot of different clubs, but they were student run, and they had an adult that just came in to make sure that they were all getting along. They didn't try to run the clubs, and they made sure the clubs all have guidelines for how clubs should be run, and that's how it should be done in schools. So I've lost endorsements because I don't talk politics, and a lot of people on my Facebook page they call me all kinds of things and telling me what part. If you want to know how I vote, you can figure out how I vote. Okay, that's not hard to find out. But do I run schools the way I vote? No. I run schools to keep kids safe. I run schools to take care of those we put in charge of educating our kids.
That's excellent. That's great.
Impressive.
I like the commitment to the nonpartisanship of the actual position, the actual race, and that's something that is, in a way, a lost art. And speaking of campaign teams, your family, if you don't mind talking about your family, what's their thoughts about you running for office? And this is your first time, if I remember
Yeah,
our earlier conversation.
first time. Well, my wife and my daughters know my passion for helping other kids. I'm one of 7 kids. I grew up, my dad left in 1968, and only 3 of us graduated high school. I have a sister who was chief of police down in West Palm Beach. I have a sister who's in the nursing field, and then there's me. And, my other siblings, they cross the different spectrums of how they grow. Some did well, some were incarcerated. My older brothers passed away, that kind of thing. So,
Sure.
when we come back to this, my wife and kids are very, very important to me. I've been married 25 years. If you would have told me in 1970 that I'd be married this long, my wife and I have been together 32 years. We are an interracial couple, and we are just, I don't know why that's relevant to anything, but I felt I had to mention that. I don't know.
It's
But
relevant. It shows that you're committed. You're
first,
committed to values and a moral compass and integrity. Congratulations.
yeah, 100%. We celebrated our 25th anniversary May 1st, and we went to Italy. My wife stayed for 20 days. I went for 10 days because I had to get back to campaign. But my youngest daughter was an au pair over there, so she got to hang out with her.
Okay.
But no, my kids are very supportive. My wife is very supportive. My wife, and I tell my family, like when I'm on these campaigns, I couldn't tell you who anyone's husband or wives are. I've been at this for 8 straight months, and I don't know anyone. I mean, I may have met someone's husband or wife at some point, someone's spouse, but I tell my wife to be as involved as she wants. My wife is very calm, and she will tell me. And my wife is one of these people that she's very smart. She's very good at proofreading. I mean, she's done proofreading work for the Moffitt Cancer Center, and so when she finds a mistake or something, she's going to point that out to me. She's got good friends here that are very much into what we're doing here, and they give her suggestions, and she knows how to bring them to us. But I let her be involved as much as she wants or little as she wants. Again, but she knows what goes on every Friday. She knows how crazy it's been the last couple of weeks leading up to it. We have not been home much at all. But me and my buddy Robert, we go out and we go to the events, and we always find us a craft brewery to have a couple of beers and come home.
All right.
So,
There you go.
works out.
I think we have to move to the specific school
Yes.
board question. So my question is that what are your top priorities for the school district if elected to the school board?
Right. Well, there are a lot of things that we can address, and every school district can have a whole list of things. My top things, safety will always be top priority with me. If kids are safe, they're going to get a great education. A lot of people can talk safety, but if you're not in that building every day, you're just talking safety. I mean, being a principal and being in the building for 34 of my 35 years, being in a building right now, safety is, it's physical safety, it's mental health safety, and it's not just the safety of the kids, it's the safety of our teachers. Our teachers go through the same things our kids go through. Our teachers have children that have mental health problems. Our teachers go through divorce. Our teachers go through different medical diagnoses and things like that. And you want to create that environment when people are on ground zero. And a lot of people, you've heard it for years, people think education is easy. We teach 10 months a year. You get a week off at Thanksgiving. You get 2 weeks off at Christmas. You get spring break. You get the whole summer off, and
Yeah.
and that's really not how, for a whole starting salary of $4,700, a year, but that's not the reality of what people are doing. Kids are changing. The cell phone has brought a whole new thing into this whole mix here, the
That's
cell
true.
phone. We'll talk more about that. Things make the conditions in the classrooms are a lot harder to teach in, but going back to it, we want to make sure kids and teachers are safe in school. That's my number one priority. Then we want to take care of the people we put in charge of educating our kids. Those are our teachers. Those are the people like, and when I say this, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodians, they're all educators in some form. But they're on ground zero because they're touching our kids on a daily basis. And those are the people we have to take care of. Unfortunately, in our district here, we're one of the districts, the 5 like-sized large districts in Florida: Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Hillsborough, and Orlando. Of the 5, we are the ones that don't have a property tax millage. So we're telling our teachers, we don't want property tax, like $1 on every $1,000, to go to teacher salaries to do what's best for our future, which are our kids there. We're telling our people. So that to me really is my big fight here. And every county that touches Hillsborough County pays a property tax millage. And people will go, oh, it's a conservative. People don't like to have their taxes raised. You're going to tell me Sarasota's not conservative? Polk County, Pasco County, they all have a property tax millage, and they pay their teachers more. And what that tells me is they believe in their community. They believe in the future of their kids being a strong part of their communities there. So we talk about safety being my top priority. The next is taking care of the people we put in charge of educating our kids. Our teachers can go 15 minutes to Pasco County or 15 minutes to Pinellas County, to Polk County, and make $5,000 to $8,000 more a year. Why wouldn't you do that? Because you're dealing with the same conditions. When I talk about conditions, I talk about student behavior, including cell phones. I talk about the lack of parent involvement. I talk about oversized classrooms. Those are conditions that we need to work on. So we can't give our teachers, a raise and say, okay, now you got to stop complaining. Once we give them a raise, now we've got to address these conditions that they're working in. So my third one would be address conditions that people are teaching in right now. Because, and I know at some point in this conversation, book ban is going to come up, but I fail to understand like how you can get up and read a book that hasn't been checked out, but 2 or 3 times in 10 years. And you think that's more important, or you think that's more of an issue than a kid opening up AirDrop on their phone and all kinds of inappropriate things getting loaded on their phone in a public school.
Right.
So,
make it make sense.
But again, my top 3 priorities.
Okay.
Go ahead one more time.
So my next question is, what is your position on including topics like climate change, diversity, and social justice in school curriculum?
Okay, climate change. Let me get that. Climate change and social justice in school curriculum.
Diversity.
And diversity
in the school curriculum. So these
okay, climate change.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, go ahead. No, I am a huge fan of teaching students the importance of protecting our environment. And I think that is something that is far removed from the Black and brown community. I mean, I don't remember I didn't learn about recycling and you see in the marginalized community where things are not being recycled and stuff like that. I think if people knew about these things, and I'm just a huge fan of that. When I was at both my high schools, I was actually the sponsor of the recycling club, just trying to get kids to understand the importance of it. And these things have to grow. When you grow up in generational poverty, certain things don't really matter to you unless people tell you about them, unless people bring those things to your attention. That was one. The climate change is something that we're going to have to implement slowly and show scientific proof of that, because you're going to have people arguing against it. When you talk about diversity, when I was at Robinson High School, we brought the IB program to accreditation. And you pretty much brought, and Robinson's down in the area called south of Gandy, where you had a population of people that were a little different than the people up north of you. And you bring the IB program, you bring in the kids that were going to where the very expensive homes were, to a school like Robinson. We talked about that diversity, and the parents came in and said, what can I do for you? And I said, your kid's going to be fine. I need help with other people's kids. I think diversity brings that aspect to everything you do. You could that is why I so believe in putting, instead of closing schools down, creating programs that would allow parents to bring their kids to those programs at other schools. That's very important, because if you're in a school where you only have 20% of your kids are high level performers, the other 80% aren't, those 20% are going to drop, and the 80% will. That's opposite of that. If 80% is 50, 60% of your kids are high performers, the other kids are going to rise to that as well. And that's diversity. Is that something that we're teaching about? I find diversity already in most of our schools. I find diversity in everything we do. I don't know that the curriculum is directly attached to writing it for diversity, but I think it's important for people to know where they've come from. I think it's important for people to know how we got to be where we are. And these are conversations that we have with our children. Our daughters are asking us, you ask our daughters right now, they identify as African American, and some people say, well, why won't they identify as biracial kids? Well, because they can identify with what they want to identify with.
Right.
With that. And they're real good with that. The social justice part, building in the school curriculum, I think a lot of that comes from, and this is where, when people say, are you willing to stand up for certain things, that the governor and his team are fighting or what have you. When you talk about social justice, you're basically talking about African American and the evolution of African American in public education for what we're looking at here. And I don't think I don't think you can teach. And I'm a huge fan. We talked about this last week, Cedra, at the meeting. We talked about Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown versus Board of Education. We talked about the Civil Rights Act of 1964. These things are American history. That's and if you choose to coin it as Black history, coin it as Black history, but it's American history. So Black history is American history, and those things will be taught. And I will be a fan of that. I will always be a proponent of that as well, and it's not to make anyone feel. But I also think that if people read, a little bit about the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and how it came to be, and the people that were involved, you will find that people of all races and all colors were involved in that, because people believe that people were being treated unjust. And if, like you say, unjust in the Black community, is going to be unjust in the brown community and in the white community as well. So I will definitely, I don't want to agree with anyone who wants to pick apart our history books, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answers. So David, do you want?
I think we know we're coming up on very little time left before your next event. I would just like to have you kind of close it out for our audience and share something inspirational or something that you want to leave with our audience so that they remember to vote for you on August 20th.
Well, I do apologize. I don't want to rush you all off, and I do apologize. I love to come in and once we get on the school board, to stay in touch with you all and see that these things are coming to fruition or what have you.
Great.
I'm a product of public education. I'm a young man who made it out from generational poverty to generational financial security. I would like to say, I wouldn't say I'm financially wealthy, but we're secure with that. We're going to own public education. We're going to own public education, whether kids go out and they do what's right in this world, or the people that are struggling through no fault of their own. We're going to own public education through incarceration. We're going to own public education through mental health, welfare. What was the other one? Just there's so many things where if we don't take care of our kids starting at a very early age, we're going to see that come in a different way. In the state of Florida, we get paid $8,000 a year to educate a kid, roughly, but it's $30,000 to keep a person in jail for a year in Florida. And if that person has mental health or physical health problems, it's $48,000 to $50,000. So the one true measure of success that I know of is education. And we've got to get back to taking care of our kids. We've got to get back to letting our kids be kids, but taking care. The teachers can't build relationships with kids like they did when we were kids. And in everybody's yearbook at Jefferson, these kids ask me to sign their yearbook. I say, when someone tells you you're good at something, own it. Be a part of it. Again, I strike a very unique balance here. I'm not beholden to anyone. I'm endorsed by the Teachers Union. I'm endorsed by the West Florida Central Labor Council. I'm very union strong. Our teacher union is very strong. I believe in what unions do for our country. I am also endorsed by Florida Rising, which is a group that works with marginalized communities. But none of those people are talking about politics. Okay.
Yeah.
These people are talking about how we can take care of a very, very strong resource that we have in America, which I think is our number one resource. That's kids. That's public education. And that is what I hope to continue to push forward as a school board member.
Okay.
That's excellent. Well, we really appreciate you joining us for this interview. And despite the technical difficulties, we got it done today. So, Johnny Bush, we really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And I'll look forward to staying in touch with you all. I was very impressed with your website. And you all are definitely legit. So we'll look forward.
Thank you so much.
And where can we find you on the internet, your campaign?
We at votejohnnybush.com. Votejohnnybush.com. And if you're in Hillsborough County and you vote, I am on your ballot. And the primaries are Tuesday, and you have until Sunday for early voting. And we're excited about it. But, like I said, there are going to be people that tell us why we won, and there may be people that tell us why we didn't win, but we feel very good about the message that we put out there, and we think it's going to carry on.
Well, we appreciate it. And to our viewers and listeners, this is another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up. Cedra, David, and Johnny Bush joining us from Hillsborough.
I asked one question there. Where did you get that title? I love it.
and Johnny, this is all political. My business partner and I, when we formed J&Washington, we merged his PR firm with my previous political consulting firm. And we were just talking, and we said, in the world of politics, there's really a day doesn't go past that we look at each other and we're like, you can't make this shit up.
Without any shit.
And so it's like, something.
The perfect title.
It is. It's our flagship podcast, and it's been phenomenal. And we really appreciate you being here with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
I think that last question is, what is one thing that you think people need to know that you just can't make up?
Exactly.
I like that. We'll do that the next time.
Yeah, there are some things that we can tell you about the education system in this district that people just shake their head and go, you can't make this stuff up.
Oh, we're going to have that interview again. We're going to have that interview. Good luck, sir.
Thank you both very kindly. I look forward to hearing from you more. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Take care.
Bye-bye.